Here we go. Sorry. Got a new microphone and trying to get accustomed to it. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Since this is a whole new setup, I want to make sure that you can hear the music, that you can hear me speaking to you, speaking with you. Um, so please, yes, do let me know. Make yourself be seen in the comment section of this live indeed. Bonsoir, 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 bonsoir la milliardaire. That's right. We are live. It's been a minute that I was supposed to be doing the show, and to be sincere, it's just been a bit crazy on my side, with just a whole lot of things going on. And, I'd like once again to apologize for slacking a little bit. But nonetheless, we're here, got a brand new microphone as advised by my brother Kaysha, who happens to be today's guest. Please let me know if you can hear me, la milliardaire. Est-ce que vous m'entendez? This is the first time I'm using this mic, so I'm hoping that there is no issues with sound. And yeah. All right. Well, okay, you're supposed to be here already, so what are you doing? Yeah, let me know that you guys are hearing everything fine and that we can get... ok, perfect. Merci, Papa K, pour ce sound check précis. All right. That's right. We upgrading. We're upgrading. It's been quite a lot of work on this side. Quite a lot of things have happened, and I just want to talk all about all of this with y'all today, including also getting into a little bit of political conversations, some of my observation of what's going on currently in Africa, particularly the current situation in Mali and Guinea, Conakry, with great changes happening in West Africa and potentially influencing the African continent. Merci beaucoup, merci. Je vous salue toutes et tous. Pour ceux qui nous regardent sur LinkedIn, qui sont sur YouTube, thank you very much. Le show va être en anglais principalement. We will be, conducting a conversation mostly in English, but we'll switcher de temps en temps sur le français. Mais I believe that everybody is perfectly bilingual or multilingual, so hopefully you get to follow through accordingly. Well, what can I say? Some of you may have seen that the cover for today's 52nd episode of Monday Quality Talks is the front cover for GQ Magazine Portugal. And the reason why I've used this as the art for today's show is because I happen to have 4 pages in this issue of GQ Magazine, the Rentrée issue, which is pretty freaking amazing, if you ask me, and a fruition, the coming to life of a vision I've had as far back as 2009, probably even much earlier than that. But I would say concretely, just envisioning things, given the implication I have in the music industry and already my vision of how I would see myself in the future back then. And I was talking to my dad about that, and I said, "Look, man." Well, I never said "look, man" because that was my dad. I was like, Dad, I really want to, get to this level where I can be in those kind of editorials, magazines, etc., etc. And father was like, look, man, if you want to get to it, you're going to have to work, but it's definitely not impossible. It's at your reach, you know, you have it in you. And my mother said the same thing, you know, in case you're new to this channel, I lost both my parents. I lost my dad in 2014, and I just lost my mother this year, 2022, in February. And last year, I remember speaking to my mother and saying, and saying to her, "Look, Mom, I know this new album I'm dropping, Manifestation, is indeed going to bring forth, you know, a set of manifestation, a set of blessings that, you know, you will be proud to see coming to life." And, you know, my mother never had any doubts when it comes to, you know, my capacity to achieve anything in life. She was a very supportive mom, very empowering mother, who also very real with keeping me in check when she felt I was probably getting ahead of myself a little bit in some way, shape, or form. And so to fast forward to 2022, she's no longer with me physically, but she's more than ever together with my dad, united in the spiritual realm, and they're looking after me from the heavens. I sense their presence. I sense the energy of them together, sort of like, you know, shining on me like a ray of light and truly accompanying me through this journey of mine. You know, this is a blessing. This is indeed a strength from, you know, the spiritual realm that allows me to keep going. And GQ magazine, man, I spoke to my PR agent here in Portugal. I said, look, man, you know, we drop in the album, as you know, it's Afro House. And interestingly enough, I gotta really commend my agents, both my guy here in Lisbon and my good sister Akia, who's in Ricardo here in Lisbon, and Akia in Paris, who are two PR agents that believe, but not only believe, but really come through with the commitments. And I will start by saying that that's, as an artist, especially if you're starting to really get serious about your work and you are building a catalog, because you see, that's the other thing. I feel like a lot of people don't have the necessary mental preparedness in order for them to see through their visions and to also see through the amount of work that is required for you to be able to achieve certain things. And, you know, there was no guarantee. There's no guarantee whatsoever. There was no guarantee whatsoever that any medias would actually feel my work in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, to the contrary, you know, odds were very much against us in a way. But I said to my guys, I said, look, man, I'm very, very confident. I'm very positive that, you know what, if it's meant to be, it will be. And, you know, we've had, you know, France 24 news anchors a couple of months ago, you know, talk show here. I mean, so many TV appearances, so many media love for this album, which is, you know, a massive project. And if you fast forward to the start of the year, end of the year, I would say September, right? You know, when everybody would actually be like, okay, cool, we've done that, that's it, we plateaued. I'm not gonna lie, man, I've been working thoroughly, even though this summer I went through a bit of a breakdown as well, you know, feeling a little bit mentally challenged with, you know, all of the, you know, the feelings of loss. I just lost my mother about 7 months ago. So I was, being hit a little bit by that. And you know, yeah, it took a bit of a toll on me, but nonetheless, I continued working, and together with the team, we are like, look, let's make this happen. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. And so when they reached out to me, they said, look, here in Portugal, we got a couple of things lined up, and came through with all of them. And one of the major pieces of work was GQ, and they loved my work. They really enjoyed what I had to offer and what I was coming with manifestation and just the history and what I come with as far as my life and contribution to the music industry. And so they're like, look, man, let's do this. And man, I bought today the magazine. Let me see. I don't know if this thing is going to allow me to go as far as I need to be. Hold on one second. Oh, Joël Amen. Joël Amen. Mes respects, mes respects, mes respects, mes respects. Salutations, Joël Amen. Salutations. Aïe, 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 aïe. Ouais. Soyez les bienvenus. Welcome back to Monday Quality Talks. It's been a minute. But we're here. Finally got my inspiration back to do this accordingly. So this is it. This is the magazine, and this is my. So they did. So it's amazing. That's very important as well to notify. It's just I believe in God. I believe in the manifestation of firmly believing in and nourishing your dream without being too obsessed about it, allowing the universe, allowing the creator to do its part. So on this, so it's a every 3 months release, right? So, and they released with two different covers, but it's the same content with two different covers. They not only give me a video interview, I also did an exclusive mini mix for them, but they gave me 4 pages. 4 pages in their in this magazine, man. This is, I mean, it's crazy. One thing I've learned is that no matter how long it takes, merci Papa K, merci beaucoup. No matter how long it takes, let God do his work or her work. If you believe God is in any way, shape, or form a she or a he, it's all good. But let that immense force guide things in your life. Don't be so pretentious and believe that you can do it all. You can do a lot, of course, but you can't do it all. You need, to make room for, time to take its place and work its magic. And God time is always the best time. Sometimes you want to be doing something right now, and things don't get aligned, and you might get a little bit aggravated by that. You might feel a little certain way. But the truth of the matter is that patience is a virtue. And yes, it's not easy. It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired skill, But I have to say I enjoy that. I enjoy the process. And here it is, and I try to rush it, I would have not have this massive exposure. Because not only I'm in the printed version of the magazine, but I'm also on the website through this, video, recorded interview, etc. These are visibility that they give to really, really, remarkable profiles. And I'm still looking at myself as, you know, this kid from Bria, you know, this, the eastern part of Central African Republic where I grew up, and you know, still, still pushing hard, still hungry, like if I had just started in the game. So I always, even though I'm not surprised by it, because this was my vision. This is something that I wanted, and it has come to fruition. But I'm still in awe and in absolute gratitude for being able to still be alive today and to be able to see this vision through thus far. Mais Papa K, je t'ai envoyé le lien. Mais attends, regarde ton WhatsApp. Toi, tu n'aimes pas regarder WhatsApp en fait. Vraiment. How can I send you this thing? Because this freaking WhatsApp doesn't want to work when my phone is off. Snap. Let me see if I can post it here on YouTube. And I'm going to delete it. Ah, yeah, that's true. God. Do you have the link? Okay. I'm removing it. Okay, cool. Removed it. No, I thought you were taking your sweet time. Putting lotion, baby powder, making sure that you're fresh and dry. Bon, so we're celebrating, and I won't lie, because a lot of the time great things have happened to me in my career. I was most of the time alone. I never really celebrated, but we're celebrating now.
Et ça d'où?
On célébrer, monsieur Ebangou.
My guy, congratulations. You're in a big magazine for big boys, for pretty boys. So.
Ok, vous comprendre que donc voilà quoi, c'est énormissime.
Non, vraiment, c'est doux. It's proud of you. Some magazines, there is promo. Some others, they mean something.
Yeah.
Forbes, GQ.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I'm glad you touched on it. Yeah, so before GQ, I had another 4-page in the Forbes magazine. So I'm a DJ, man. I mean, like, and I'm, and if it's like a lot of people don't even, sometimes even though it was my vision, I'm like, am I really computing this right? It's amazing how, and I understand, you know what, I'll tell you something, Papa K. It's very interesting. My father used to tell me, I remember we were talking back in the days, and he said, my mother was saying that to me as well. Together we were sitting, the two of us, and he said, all the guys that you work with, and that was back in the days, all of them have known success around their 40s. Success started to knock at their door around their 40s.
Interesting.
And it's very interesting this is happening, because we can clearly identify this as a success. It is a form of success. Especially for somebody like you, Kaysha, you're a singer, you've been in the game, you have all these awards. I don't have the half of the awards you got, right? You've done the CNN, you've done all this shit. It makes sense for somebody like you to be in this kind of medias. But if you're looking at things from just most people's perspective, this guy, Boddhi Satva, is just a producer and a DJ. And yet,
now, the thing
is regarded
I believe
as
it also comes with the fact that you say you believe in yourself, but sometimes how humbleness is a quality, but it's a sin at the same time. We don't believe that we should be there when actually you influence a damn whole genre. Why shouldn't you be there? Because all this money that is being made by all these kids today would not be made if when they were 10, 12, 13, they were not impressed and inspired by you.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
in terms in economic terms, you are in the root of something.
Yeah.
So you are exactly where you should be. Then the problem is sometimes somebody being so humble, you just don't, you wanted to be there, but there's this imposter syndrome sometimes where
It's true.
you're
100%.
like, oh my God, I'm here. What am I doing here? Where no, you're here. That's where you're supposed to be. And it takes a lot of time to work on yourself to understand that it's not being cocky.
Yes, sir.
To be where you were supposed to be and to receive the accolades, because we don't work for that. We work for the work. But it doesn't mean that being recognized for what you do is something that is not normal. Especially when whenever and wherever you go, you have the same people who are successful that say, Pai Grande, the guy who, oh my God, he's so how you gonna be here and having all these people tell you're a legend and you don't believe it yourself? At a point, you have to believe it not as a
in a cocky way, or in I'm better than you.
Cocky way, like I'm a legend.
Exactly.
It's just like, well, history shows that indeed. My cousin sent me a message today, and he said, he told me today, he said, okay, you changed Zouk, Kizomba, Kompa, and African music and Coupé Décalé, like all of this in the space of 4 years. Like, you've inspired countless of people, whether they accept it or not. And he's like, kudos to you, cousin. Like, I don't know what interview he saw. He sent me the link of an interview, and it was like, they were talking probably about somebody, and he was like, why don't they do documentaries like this about you? And I was like, I don't know. I don't do what I do for that. Maybe, finally it's there. I was like, where's the...
Yeah. I forgot.
Oh my God. Slacking.
Hey, I haven't been doing the show in a long time.
Oh my God. So yeah, I was, it's not that I need the people to understand the scope of what I did, because I'm still doing the work. Man, listen, maybe in 20 years, when I'm 70 something, I'll be 68. People be like, wow, look at what it did in 20 years. Or maybe I'll create it myself. You see what I mean? Sometimes you have to tell your story yourself. That's the reason I have my own show.
That's the thing.
I can tell my story myself. I can have the narrative set the right way and not be cocky. Tell stories.
But you're telling the story.
You just,
and that's exactly what I feel was this opportunity, man. It's like,
exactly,
this guys offered me an opportunity to tell my story and to really speak, because it's not like we are guys that are just going to talk about us. We're going to talk about everybody. Like, I mean, you can see, we don't forget anybody. When we grew, even some of those who don't necessarily give us much love, it's cool because they are part of the history. They're part of the making of this whole thing.
Get love. Even the amnesic get love. Yeah,
people with amnesia do get love, and that is just who we are. But unfortunately, it's like we're not necessarily given the opportunity to speak. So, and sometimes, we were talking about this. Remember when you said, even sometimes back in the days at least, when we were having the opportunity to eventually express ourselves, we refrained from doing so because we were, again, imposter syndrome and all that shit. And now it's like you get empowered, and you are indeed a reflection of the 5 people around you. And I would have to say that, learning to surround yourself is very important, especially with the right people that will challenge you, but that will always be there with you and for you, and vice versa. I think that's so powerful. You
have to be surrounded by people who are loyal, no matter what, not people who will jump ship when it's raining. You have to be surrounded by people who are brave, who can criticize you when you deserve it, in your face and not in the back.
Exactly.
It can tell you what it is. When you need to have some soap in the mouth, they will do it. And but they will fight for you when it's time to fight for you.
100%.
And you have to be surrounded by people who are in the same or further, rather than, I mean, somebody can be just behind you as long as he's working hard to be in your way, but you have to be moving forward, and you will not leave people behind because everybody's walking at the same pace. And those who are in front are inspiring the ones who are further in the back, but not way too much. And if somebody arrives to its limits, it's time to let it go. It's time to let that person go. That's because sometimes some people will not go over level 10. Some people, they arrive to their limit. It's like this. If you're on your way to level 1000, you cannot just be there at level 10 waiting for people. You know, at a point you have to be, oh, bro, it's been a great ride.
And
talk on the phone.
But unfortunately, you see that sometimes when you're such a good heart, you get fucked over by your good heart. Let's take a moment and just welcome those who just joined us now. Mountain of Inspiration, good to see you, King.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Shada Gang. Kaite Samba, welcome. Mahamadou Yaya, salamu alaikum. Bruno Solo, thank you very much. Thank you for your condolences. I appreciate that. And la milliardaire toujours présente. Voilà, donc je pense qu'on est là. As you were saying, man, it's like your kindness tends to lead you to, again, sometimes give them a pass. But then they drag you back. They drag you down because they know they can't get where you are just because they're just not willing to do the necessary work to get there.
Some people are really
Ellie,
some people are just not the right people for a certain time. I mean, I have some people that I used to walk with and work with 20 years ago, and today I cannot be with them in the studio. Not because they don't have talent. It's just a frame of mind, a state of mind, a level of intelligence that I need today. I used to love holding people by the hand. I used to love it. It gave me a sense of purpose. Today, if I have to hold your hand, I'm pissed. I'm like, yo, leave your greasy hand out of my hand. I don't need to hold people's hand. I have kids now that I'm holding hands to. And it's just decided to go to the next step of the evolution and of the, listen, if you want to put a dent in the universe, you have to be Steve Jobs.
100%.
You can't be one of his employees. They have to program, they have to assemble the phones.
Absolutely.
They don't imagine the phone.
Absolutely.
But the phone wouldn't exist if that guy in listen.
Absolutely.
That guy can be replaced by another 1 million guy. But the guy who in his head said, hey, let's assemble this and this and this, and boom, create something that changes the world, like not this one. Like this thing here.
Oh, you still have it?
Of course I have it.
Oh my God.
Welcome,
Teresa Russo. What's going on, Queen?
Hello, right. Teresa. What up, Ruff? So
Ellie, what it do?
The people who will draft it in their head, those people are unique individuals. So when you are somebody who created a genre, a whole genre, and inspired an whole generation with your sound, of course you should be in GQ and in Forbes. That's where you should be, because you are the epitome of the son of a generation that people are still being inspired and using that path to create on. And you cannot even compare yourself and your career path to those who are being successful DJs, etc., because that's not who you are. You're not just that producer. You actually are that prophet.
Yeah,
but it's hard. It's hard on us
it's
because
very hard.
at the
It's
same
very
time
hard.
you see yourself as just a human. You're like,
It's funny
yeah, but
because there's the guy that's the guy that's helping me write my biography right now. I'm redoing my biography. He sent me the the first treatment, and he described me. He said amongst DJ, producer, and then teacher. And I said, whoa. And
heavy.
then he goes on elaborating that, and I was like, damn, man. I said, that's a bit heavy for my boy. He's like, nah, but you gotta own who you are, man. It's not a question of like you teach anyone. It's just that you technically, according to the perspective I have on that, and that he was kind of like emphasizing upon based on the conversation we had, just like you, for example, when we're on the phone together, you're teaching me, but you're not teaching me in telling me, okay, no, sit down and I'm teaching you. You're sharing your life experience with me that is teaching me lessons that I have to find within the message you're sharing, right? So watch who is your teacher on a daily basis. And if your friends are, teaching you nonsense, you're gonna be about nonsense. If the moment you start posting dumb-ass pictures or dumb-ass stuff, and you can do that, you can be light and stuff, but the moment you start doing dumb shit with your life and people empower you doing that, those are not the right people in your life. I'm not saying that there's a righteous way, but there is a righteous way. I mean, there's a more virtuous way. Not necessarily righteous, but there's a more virtuous.
It all depends. It all depends who you want to be. Are you a builder? Are you a builder?
Yeah.
Are you a visionary? Are you somebody who shows the path? Are you somebody who wants to share? Are you a worker? Or are you just one of the 99% who are just living and passing by?
Yeah.
And it's not everybody can be a leader. We can see with the people who lead us that
yes, sir.
Now that we are led by idiots, we realize, damn, where are the real leaders?
Man, let's talk about that. I mean,
where are the diplomats?
This is the thing. It's almost like there's a suicidal desire from the Western world, and it's almost like they want to kill the essence of what it is that they've worked so hard, or the forefathers worked so hard to put together, from the UN to all these big organizations that were supposed to be forces to alleviate pressure, to avoid tensions, to avoid conflicts. Now becoming, you got the secretary of the UN, prompting people to get armed. This belligerent, like literally, co-signing shit that shouldn't be co-signed. And when you have all this like antagonism and you can't speak your truth, or not even the truth, but you can't even debate in a healthy way, sharing just opposite opinions without having to be enemies. This is so sad, man. There's no more room for nuance at all.
I think that the Western world has been infected by two things. The first is the virtue signaling of everything. Like, you can't criticize anything anymore, and you cannot disagree with anything anymore without being treated anything that ends with ist or phobe. Like, people have been victimizing themselves to a point where it kind of not makes sense anymore. Like, you talk to anybody, any group, they've been taught to just be victims. And on the other side, all these organizations have also been invaded by huge corporations that are taking over the world.
100%.
Like, we are arriving to this dystopian world where huge companies dictate how we have to think, because they also own the places where we talk. We are on the platform that is owned by a huge company, and this huge company also can decide that the thing we're talking about they don't like it, or somebody that works there doesn't like it, and they just remove incentive by removing monetization, or they just remove you from the conversation by canceling you because enough people feeling victimized by stuff that we say as if it hurts them for real will just tweet about it, and then after that they can just deplatform you, and the people who disagree with you think they have a right to have you deplatform, and it's a victory. I mean, we're talking about people who fought for freedom of speech, who hate the idea of other people
having the freedom to speak,
having the freedom to speak something different than what they think. And now we have the people who are taking the decisions who have not been elected. I'm a French elector, and I voted for a government, and I voted for somebody to represent me in the circumscription of Portugal where I live. I voted for these people to represent my voice, and because whatever is their program, that's what I believe in. And those people have no power because of people who are representing federal power, people who are not elected and who are in the hands of huge companies. And it's complicated because the more, I would say this 5 years ago, I would be treated as a conspiracist. But it is clear, we can see it. We see the things moving on. We see the groups of media being bought by huge conglomerates. And it is, and so Europe should be the third voice. I mean, we have blocks, right? We have a huge block which is called the United States of America. 54 states that are speaking from one voice because they elect the federal head of state. We have China, we have Russia and India, Africa that has no voice, and Europe that is supposed to be a bunch of countries, 28.
Okay, your sound is breaking up a bit.
What you mean?
Oh, okay. Bruno says it sounds good now, but it was
Bruno is always looking for problems. These guys, these guys. Hi, Bruno. So, you have these people who are supposed to, we decided to be all together as countries, but not to remove our choice as different countries to decide if we agree or we disagree with certain decisions. And up there, they're supposed to all go and decide together. But now the people who are at the head of the European Union, they just take decisions. And
and also the media, the journalists are all partisan. They're all activists.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what is very interesting? I was very surprised to see, like, you know, guys like, you know, leaders like the President Macron literally telling his ambassadors to become you know, influencers, pretty much, you know, and acting as influencers and sort of like reporting, like even them, like the way he was, even like, look at, for example, you know, you may or may not know like you know, the Queen of England, you know, and for valid reasons certainly, but you know, this is a woman that had a family with kids, etc. People that love her, she loves people, but what you don't have to like her. Cool. We respect at least the memory of this lady who died. And yes, you can say it's not your queen. You can say all this shit. Great. But then you have leaders like Macron. Wait, man. Like, you know, it's you know, it is weird to me. And then you have guys like President Macron who's coming with Snickers. I mean, how far are you pushing trivialization of such a moment of paying homage and honor. Like you have a guy like David Beckham who might be doing that as a publicity stunt, maybe, but he waited. I think 7 hours in the queue.
He
Like
was he had dignity.
he had dignity. Like yo, dressed up, proper. Like
Yeah.
you don't, you, and beyond anything. Like when I see certain people at certain funerals, the way they dress up, I'm just like, dude, what the fuck do you think you're coming to? Some sort of like pillow fight parties or some shit. Have some decency, have some respect for the person who just died. Like, oh well, they're not saying the way you dressed. It's not about that. It's decency. It's paying homage to the dead, to the person, and sending them off. Because we as humans would love to judge, but we forget that, the actions that we take now, and the action of judging somebody will be taken against us at some point, some way, shape, or form, at the level of our realities, And the funny thing, and that's what you call karma, right? But then when karma hits your fucking face with a slap, you don't see that. You're like, oh my God, everybody's against me. No, it's not. It's like, exactly as you said, brother Lehlohonolo Makoti. Yes.
I would just
on LinkedIn.
Brother Mac.
Brother Makoti, yeah. That's what it is. Just respect. And all I'm saying is this: yes, you can claim all the shit you're claiming, and you have the right to actually spread, truthful information about what has happened and some of the dirty jobs these people have done. Great,
It can wait 10 days.
It can wait fucking 10 days, man.
10 days. You have to. All these people are here to mourn. You have to come with your little not my queen. Like, shut the fuck up for 10 days. Let the people mourn, then go back now, because we have a whole generation of narcissists who think that everything is about me, how I feel, and we have media, politicians who are not able to tell people, hey, what you feel is how you feel. It's in you, I'm not here. But the real life is the real life. And no, you're not a little flower. You're not this. This is not the land of the business. And yeah, it's not your queen. I don't care. Let them finish their thing. Then we'll talk about slavery, colonialism, all the shit, all the money that do. Like, okay, but have some respect for what this country is going through, and let them decide.
But beyond the country, man, I think the family, like.
Yeah, and the family, respect his family. Like,
and that's the thing. It's like, and in that sense, bro, I mean, this is where you also see the very weird bias of medias, and
yeah,
it's just peculiar. I mean, not to cut corners.
In France, for example, all the media, journals, TVs, everything belong to 4 companies. So how you think you're gonna have independent people when an order can come from up there and just fire you? How are you like an independent voice when strangers on Twitter can make you lose your job? Like, nobodies, a bunch of nobodies on Twitter. That's very disrespectful what I say.
A bunch of so-called specialists. I mean, some people have studied 20, 30 years, and you with your 10 minutes knowledge, you think you can, supposedly,
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Undo their knowledge by saying that, well, the numbers are like, what do you know? You don't even know your left from your right. Like, what do you know?
Do you remember when I did a video on African clothing, African patterns? When I told all these people, well, all these have been invented in Holland. Vliesco, your great brand, is actually Vlieskengen from Holland. And all these designs that you talk about that are iconic have been designed in Holland by Dutch people. Listen, people's head were exploding. Like, no, Say, yeah, go Negro with your. Now go tell people that when they do braids, they are uh, appropriating culture and stuff. When what you wear not being made by you.
No, I understand what you're saying, but it is, but also understand the counterpoint to that, which is yes, you're right. It probably has been like most things, right?
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to all the major breakthroughs in history, whether, for example, if you talk about fashion, for example, the patterns of the way the man and the woman in Africa, centuries ago, were, you know, combing their hair, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The way they were drawing things, those were inspiration. Sorry, to a lot of the things that we've seen being taken by the Western world, because for some reason, either, well, some would say because they were probably more business minded, or because for us as African, if you look even now, right, there's a sense of generosity in Africa. If you go to a village, you have no place to stay. Technically, you have no food. A villager will welcome you in
Yep.
in his family's house,
heartbeat.
give you his bed, and they will sleep on the floor. Doesn't matter your skin color, but as a stranger, they will welcome you.
No, what I'm saying,
that is in that mentality. No, not to cut you, but just to add,
Yeah,
it's just
go ahead.
that I understand your point, but then I also understand why some of the, for example, when it comes to Pan-Africanism and
Yeah.
historians of the African continent, true historians, not bullshitters and people
Yeah.
who so-called African lovers, this and that. No. There's a lot of people really discovered they were African after watching fucking Black Panther. So let's not even start with that thing.
By Disney.
Here you go. Oh, did you see the scandal about the new movie with the lady, woman Panther, the new movie that's coming out, that it was written by this white,
Woman King with a
Woman King. Yes. That it was written by a white woman. That the movie was written by a white. Mais oui. Tu as pas vu le scandale qui est en train d'arriver là? Oh my God! Will our people ever wake up? Like, but this is the thing. Like, so
Story.
This is the thing. So, man, go ahead. I'm listening.
You have to ask yourself the question: what do we want? Do we want to live with ourselves in an island, or we want to be part of the world? When you are part of the world, things are going to be extreme. Our own music, my music, when people tell me what is the inspiration from your music, I tell, well, listen, Europop from the 80s, old R&B, hip-hop, Congolese music, West Indian music, Cape Verdean music, compa, Angolan music, Congolese music, etc., a little bit of Cuban music, because I grew up listening to everything. So my culture, because I traveled a lot in my life, my culture is just a mix of everything. How am I going to go and I understand that at a point you have to also fight inequalities. But there's a point where you pass that thing and now you become what you've been fighting. Because now the fact that a white woman wrote the script or whatever is the script good? Entertainment at a point, right?
I mean, everybody who saw the advertisement of the movie were like, "Oh my God, this is." But now the moment you find out, oh shit. But is it good or not? That's the question. Now they're gonna find the thing.
And of course, learn. But sometimes the question is this: is this based on a true story? Hasn't been invented? Is the person who maybe if it's based on true history, is the person look at the facts right? Did she respect that, etc.? What is the, like, I think people are asking way too much from entertainment, and they are worsening the experience for a lot of people. I was watching She-Hulk, and actually I stopped, watched one episode. I was like, yeah, it's okay. And then I went to watch some commentary, and everybody was yelling about the fact that, again, when it's a woman, she's fast too fast, blah, 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 blah. How come she knows everything that took 10 years to do? She knows it in 1 second. Everybody was going crazy about that. And because of that, I didn't watch the rest. because I was like, yeah, it's true. I didn't think about that watching it. But in reality, I didn't think about all that before you guys polluted me with that.
Yeah.
So 2 nights ago, 4 nights ago, I don't remember. I called you after that. I just played one episode, number 2, and I watched from number 2 to number 6, and I had a great time. It was not the the series of the century, but actually it was cool to watch if you're not polluted with all the culture, gender,
Yeah,
war
all these
right now. It's
political.
polluting everybody. Actually,
Yeah.
the people who really care about that are doing a horrible job of or just putting people against each other for whatever agenda they have. And this is the problem with the world everywhere. People, if it feels that somewhere, and we have to start looking into that. It feels like people might have an interest in everybody divided because maybe they make more money from that.
No, I mean, drama makes more money than anything, right? Drama
makes money.
And then, so did you notice? I don't know if you noticed, if you post dumb shit, huh?
We have to start asking ourselves, like, do we want to be surrounded by the drama, or we want to start looking at the algorithms and controlling what we click on and what we click on, so that we are less stressed after watching something in our time of rest, when you're supposed to just watch something, enjoy, and continue your life. All of a sudden, people want you to have this time to be pissed about something, and then you just become stressed out. So at the end of the day, instead of being like, watch a good series, had a good massage, and go to bed, no, you're stressed out. You start the next day angry about something, and then next time you watch anything, you can't see something without thinking of all the cultural wars that are going on. And sometimes you're not even concerned by those things. And now, like, all these people are trying to have you be pissed about something or pissed about someone. Listen, I've been thinking a lot about a couple that I met in Ukraine. The girlfriend was Russian, and my friend was Ukrainian, and they're
still alive, right? So she is still.
I have no idea. I don't.
You don't know. Well,
I don't know.
Hopefully they're still good.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Olga if they still are. So the boyfriend Ukrainian and the girlfriend from Russia. They were going back and forth between Kharkiv and St. Petersburg, where the girlfriend comes from, and they both family knew each other. Actually, the boyfriend had some, old Russian ancestors, etc. So, like, when I was talking to them at that time, just before my show in 2018, I was asking them, also, finally, you guys are enemies in the end. So, no, listen, there's a lot of debate and stuff, but we are brothers. The country's a thing, and listen, we love. That's what matters. We love Kizomba and etc. etc. And I've been thinking about them lately, asking myself, wow, like, because the person who introduced me to them, he went to fight. I talked to him when the war started, and he was on his way to fight. So I have to send him a message, or his wife a message, asking, hey, are you fine? I was watching my vlog in Ukraine, and I was like, oh, I hope they're fine. Like, I feel for this couple. Like, how do they process that when the whole world is now telling you that you have to hate your neighbor? And listen, they invading your country.
For me, that's the part that is the most fucked up. Is that Russia, the Russian phobia that has been birthed and openly advocated for by leaders, and then they say no. I mean, did you know? I don't know. Was it you? I know it was you. So you told me the story about the Russian guy that wanted to open a store in Belgium. He had everything. I mean, and they didn't want to give him the. I mean, Same story to very much to the one you're talking about, Kizomba and this festival. So there's this lady that was telling me that basically they were she has befriended one of the organizers of one of these big festivals, Kizomba festivals, back in the days before this whole thing happened, the war in Ukraine, and the organizer of the event, that person is Russian, the organizer is Ukrainian, and they were meeting someplace where there's one of these Kizomba festivals going on, and it was like warm and hugs. And this time around, or earlier this year, same person, different festival, and that person said, if it was up to me, I'd have all of you killed, and I would never let you in. How do you even manage to, leave Russia and come to Europe? Like you should, you know what I mean? Like, and that's how much hate people have been fed, and believe that to be now the new norm.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so fucked up that people who are Russians, just because you're Russian, you have to hide your identity like that. Like right now in Portugal, like anywhere in Europe, we obviously, you and I, we know a lot of Russians, Ukrainians. No matter. I know a couple of Russians.
I don't know.
No, you better not say that you know any. I know a couple of Russians, right?
I don't have a kid with one.
Something exactly.
I don't have a daughter that is a fourth Russian. Imagine.
And so and by what we're saying, people say, "Oh my God, you guys are pro Russians." No, we're pro fucking justice. Like you can't blame a conflict that is heads of states against heads of states, governments against governments, on the people of these countries. And of course, they're gonna, if they're fed enough fucking propaganda, they're gonna believe the propaganda. But the truth of the matter is that, look, these Russians friends, some of them have the double nationality. They are told, if you come, for example, to Portugal, you want to live in Portugal, don't mention that you're Russian, that you have a double passport. Try to hide it and avoid that information as much as possible, because they will close doors.
Yeah,
it was recently that we were talking. It was this guy that has real estate in Lisbon, and this one lady can't sell her real estate because she's Russian.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, come on, bro. Like,
and
as Europe becomes such a xenophobic territory.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just weird to me.
And it comes from people who are up there in the European Parliament and are proven to be failed in their countries and corrupt.
Exactly. and suppose I can't remember which journalists say that the first of all, they say that the UN seems to be, but again, alleged, so obviously there's no, but according to what's being seen, the bias, the double standards that is being pushed absolutely blatantly, it is now the European Union, the NATO, the UN, the most corrupt, as far as the ideology is concerned, organizations. Where specifically, if you look at the UN, I mean, I don't know if you watched some of the discourses that happened during this 77th session of the UN, with regrouping all the world leaders. Man, I have seen some of the most charismatic, emblematic, historical speeches done and given by African leaders. Especially the most amazing one was the man, the Prime Minister of Mali, Abdoulaye Maïga, who's a military, and who just dropped bombs after bombs and literally bringing truth. Like, I mean, yes, okay, you might say, well, it's biased, but let's be a bit honest. Like, there's so much truth to what this guy brought, and I think anybody who has a little bit of intellectual integrity and just honesty and say, look, you're right. There's a lot of things that can be reviewed in the way things function nowadays. For example, in the way the African continent has been considered. Do you know that if you look at Macky Sall's intervention, I was so disappointed at what at even the tone and his demeanor when he was talking. He was talking. I mean, you are one of the biggest leaders on the African continent, and you're almost asking permission for Africa to have a place and a say, at the Council of the World, the world leading forces. To this day, we don't have an active, voice at the UN. We are still babysitted. I mean, we are one of the biggest continent. We have the most youth. Did you see? Was you? We were talking about that by 2050, 1 in 6 human in the world will be African, or of African origin, or something like that.
I didn't see that one. But listen, this, when you understand geopolitics and you learn to watch, to go a little bit over the subject, right? And you watch, you take a little bit of hauteur, you go higher a little bit, you try to not just watch what is happening, but you go a little higher, so you watch what is happening plus this, you go a little higher and you watch a little more, etc. Then you ask yourself a simple question. Let's talk about Europe, right? In Europe, the European Union, if you go under the ground, there's no resource, there's nothing. It's dirt, right?
You
go a little bit on the east of Europe to Russia.
Russia, they have
all the gas is there. All the gas is there. So
aluminium. Ils have aluminium. Ils ont l'aluminium aussi. Ils ont le truc là qui fait l'aluminium. J'ai oublié le nom du truc là. Mais oui, enfin oui. Ok, ils ont du pétrole, ils ont du gaz, ils ont des diamants.
Now you go to Africa. You go to Africa, and everybody's talking about Web3, about green energy, etc. But they're ready.
Merci, Papa K. Drop that knowledge.
They're about to plunder Africa like crazy. They're about to. This is going to be the new rape.
DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, is about to be even more destroyed than ever.
All the cobalt, coltan, manganese, copper is there in Africa. The gold, the diamonds, everything is there. So,
sir,
all these countries, if they give you the power to decide the prices, to say how, and to control your destiny
and your currency,
they die. You have to understand balance of things. They are here with our resources, and we're here, and we become smart. We have smart leaders, people that are incorruptible, everything you want. If for us to go here, they have to go there, because it's called balance, right? So even if we do this and they do this, people who've been used to living rich in Europe will revolt on their governments. So the CIA makes everything possible for everything to stay this way.
Well, not only them, MI6,
of course, because
Mossad,
it's a question,
etc.
The interest. So, and men are men. It's easy to corrupt men, or to threaten men, or to kill men. So listen, there's been a few trying to.
Nowadays, you don't need to kill the person,
etc.
You can just go on the phone and pick out a couple of pictures of the guy sending dick pictures and shit, and let him know that, hey, look, by the way, we have this. You want to continue playing around?
You remember your girl, Fanta?
Yeah.
I don't know the Fanta.
So he's you licking the pum pum. Oh, je t'aime, mon bébé. Oh, j'ai donné. Ah, ma femme n'est rien pour moi. Je t'aime, toi. Come on, bro. No, but this is one of the things. We are so dumb, man, sometimes, and so corruptible.
No, it's not us. It's men. Men are greedy.
Mais c'est vrai.
Listen, it's not us. Listen, I give you now $100 million. $100 million to go lead Central Africa. In 5 years, you at the helm. He's $100 million. You're gonna do exactly as we say. You receive phone calls every week from McKinsey and the US, the UN, etc. And you will do as we say. Yeah. The rest we don't care. All we want is this, control of those minds, etc. Here's $100 million.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna take it. Yeah, everybody is not gonna take it on Twitter.
But officially, you are taking the fucking money
when it's there in front of you.
Baba. You will take it, bro.
They give everything. So 100 million. And listen, we're talking about 100 million from people. They can print that money. All they have to do,
of course,
they go.
They never have to reimburse it anyway because they own.
Yeah, they just create 100 million. They create on the ledger. It's digital now anyway, and they just send it to you. And there you go. Go and do what we said. You will do what they say.
Now that it's all digital, they have another way of pressuring you, which is the moment you don't do what they say, you fucked. And that's the. And so this takes us to one of the things I wanted to talk about today. So I don't. Well, it
sounds like our phone conversation. We are going from places to places.
Exactly.
Hello.
Muhammad Ali. It looks
Bruno,
like
Bruno said something interesting.
Thank you, King. Yeah, go
Before
ahead.
we move,
let's read
something interesting. The problem with moving is not wokeness; it's the writing done by activists who just want to put their ideologies at the expense of the movie quality. I fully agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah.
Talking about the internet and talking about censorship and talking about new ways of controlling, narrative, especially when we talk about the African continent and the aspiring leaders or the thinkers or the philosophers or the intellectuals in general who are really now, because you have to understand what's going on right now in Mali and Guinea-Conakry. Guinea-Conakry is one of the founding fathers of la CEDEAO. So you're talking about people in terms of Sékou Touré, etc. Those are people who are these two countries might influence the entire continent, bringing back a sense of sovereignty and pride for a lot of Africans who have seen not enough of that with the leaders that we've been dealing with. And I forgot the name of this African intellectual said, but it's also understandable because a lot of these leaders didn't know any better, right? So there was different times, different realities. So you can't really blaming the past. That's great, but it's not going to advance the conversation. However, strengthening ourselves from these lessons of the past to not repeat certain mistakes is essential. And so what they were saying is that, so there is, for example, France is losing ground in Africa, right? But not only, right? There's an overall rejection of the Western world and the Western way of the Westernized way of handling politics and diplomacy and all that. As a matter of fact, as you said earlier, there's no more diplomacy whatsoever, and some African presidents are feeling sort of like empowered by some of these backings from the Western countries, and they want to act like Democrats by saying things and raising certain voices which are dictated to them by the people that have interest in their countries or have interest in the countries that they want to destabilize, etc. And now the nations and the people who have access to internet are saying no. We the new generation, the new African don't want to see that again. We want to be sovereign. We want to be, in control of the narrative, and we don't want to fight each other. We are all Africans, and that's one of the beautiful things that I found. I don't know if you noticed, if you follow the recent news, but so Guinea-Conakry and Guinea-Bissau are the president of Guinea-Bissau just dropped a couple of things that were regarding this whole story of the 49 Ivorian militaries that are held prison in Mali because they entered supposedly without any permission, etc., with arms in the country. And so now they're held in prison until there's a judgment, or there can be a resolution politically. But anyway, bottom line is that this led to a conflict where, Guinea-Conakry, having had also a coup with the new president now, who's the military, and he's the president of the transition. So technically what's going on is that you have a discourse that this military, right, who you would think are dumb as fuck, but the way those guys express themselves is so sophisticated and so elaborated, and they send a very clear message. And I'm not saying that I'm against or for or whatnot. I'm just looking at factually what these people are saying, and they said we are one continent with different way of functioning. We are one people. Our beef is not with our brothers and sisters from those respective countries. It is with your leaders. We have to solve these situations as Africans, between Africans, to our Africans' ways of resolving situations and problems, not trying to apply, these ways of doing diplomacy applied by the westernized world, which are in no way, shape, or form to be called diplomacy anymore, because it's all about, strong arming people, etc., etc. And so, so there was, to the point I was trying to make about the internet and trying to the way they're trying to use now this modernization of Africa when it comes to access to the internet, etc., etc. They want to. It seems like there is two opposite forces. One which is highly Pan-African, who wants Africa to become more responsible for its own destiny, with truly strong, powerful African intellectuals, leaders, in charge of the destiny and choosing their their partners, without having had to be, held at gunpoint by, Western countries, ex-colonies, etc., because they are making choices or taking decisions that go against the monopoly of these given countries. And so supposedly there is a massive injection of fund allocated, and the French government supposedly was trying to implement that and pass it as the fund for democracy or something like that, when in all actuality it looks like there's going to be allocation of funds to really just close more and more of these portals and more of these channels of expressions of this young and new Africa that is trying to make their voice heard around the world, but mostly directed to the African people.
This is the problem with the rise of these multinationals own everything. Imagine you become one of these new African leaders. We are at the age where we can start taking our right mind, see if the people want to follow us, right? So we start using our platforms. We have platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
We start using our platforms as a vector to convey a message. Your grandfather was a politician. Your father was in politics as well.
Yeah.
Was a leader in BINANCE. My father is. My mom is a woman who been doing things in the shadows. My sister's a politician. My brother-in-law is my brother.
Hold on, Kay. We are dealing with a lot of dumb folks, man. I think when you say that your mother's been doing things in the shadow,
Yeah.
a lot of common people won't understand what that means, and it's usually associated to dark practices. Can you elaborate, maybe without giving details, but just elaborate what is the role of a powerful and enigmatic and charismatic woman like your mother or my mother, some of these women of leaders?
I believe the people who are here need the explanation. I trust the people who come here
as well, but
So, listen, people will always want to interpret the things the way they want, but that's not where I'm going. Imagine that we decide to use our platforms. I'm approaching 200,000 followers on YouTube, 200,000 on Instagram, 1 million on Facebook, 50,000 on Twitter. I now start swinging my message towards something. Mark Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan recently.
Yeah.
And he said that he received a call from the CIA about Ukraine, about Joe Biden's son.
Is it Bo Biden or something? Or Hunter Biden or whatever?
Yeah, Hunter Biden being in Ukraine doing stuff.
Yeah, Bo Biden passed away, right?
And so they called him and they said, hey, there's going to be a lot of misinformation on this particular subject about Ukraine. So that's way before the war. We're talking about before the elections of last US election. So for 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And Trump is pounding on this because he has the information. But now they're saying, yeah, there's going to be a lot of misinformation about this specific subject. And he said, so what we did, we didn't prevent people from posting about it, but we just prevented people from seeing it. So all of a sudden you post about something and Facebook can decide that people who follow you will not see it.
Yeah. So
I was watching this and I was like, yo. And I was like, okay, so the problem is, okay. So it comes to a point now where now you have people explaining to you that if you say something that ended up being true, there was a laptop, there was stuff happening in Ukraine before the war, there was a lot of corruptions and stuff that now, thanks to the war, everything got put under the rug, right? But even before, those of us who know where to get information, who are connected, we know when something is true way before people know. But the general public, they didn't see it because when you post something, people are not really going to your profile to know if you post something. Power away. It's the new, and all of a sudden you post it, it would be on your profile, but it would not be on the news feed. The next level of that is what they did to Andrew Tate. It's just, we don't like what you say. We're gonna have the narrative saying that it's dangerous for young boys or for X part of the population, and then we can deplatform you, which is from one switch. Facebook can remove you from Facebook, Instagram, and even block your WhatsApp.
I mean, they blocked the guy's Gmail, and he was literally blocked from the internet. Banks, he couldn't access his bank account, his money. Yo, this guy is literally just talking his own shit. Like, really?
So that's where you see how the fact that all these companies are buying each other, and for example, AWS. So AWS, for those who don't know, is Amazon Web Services. A lot of the websites that you see don't have servers. They just buy the bandwidth on Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services belong to Amazon. Amazon belong to Jeff Bezos, the same as the Wall Street Journal, the same as Twitch. So somebody up there can say, the message of this guy is dangerous for the control of the resources of Africa that we have.
Yeah.
Cut him off now. And listen, you can say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have my own website. I'm gonna create my own Twitter for my followers.
They'll fuck you up the website because
service can say, no, we're not gonna let you operate, so you don't have access to the internet. Or my donator is gonna send me PayPals and things. No. Or we're gonna
Patreon, everything is cut off from you. You have no access.
Coinbase can be taken off, and you're like, wait a minute, there's a freedom here. We are actually going tranquillement. We are tranquilly going into a world where you can just be cut off. And imagine when we become when they find a way to decouple the soul from the body, and you now live in the blockchain.
Hey, Papa K, vas-y doucement, tu es en train d'amener la science.
Bro,
vraiment.
When your body is in or imagine if, okay, let's go 30 years forward, 50 years forward, right? The internet is now something that we implement at a certain age in your brain, connected to the synapse, and we now connect to the internet just from our cyber brain, cyber eyes, whatever. People can disconnect you because then you become, so what we talk about China being this place where they're having these social
credit.
But America is exactly the same.
Well, I mean, Europe, everything is becoming more and more, but the way they package it is better.
Of course, but if I was African leader, the first thing I would do like China, I build my own internet, servers and everything for my people, my own YouTube, all platforms of thing, and make sure that it's decentralized and that the government cannot cut it.
But you'd be killed before you even start that. That's the thing.
I know. That's why
you would be killed. But that's
why I'm making my money and my music and just talking. Hey, I'm don't worry.
I'm no threat. But my question to you is, that's a question to you. Maybe the AI can see it. Since you're a friend of the AI, they might be like, that's our buddy, it's cool. But let me ask you a question. The guy said that when he dies, he wants to put his brain into so let's welcome. It's fine. Let's give him a pass.
Joel said, even some of the web hosting services reside on AWS. Yeah. Bruno is saying shadow ban.
What shadow ban? If you remember, Joe Rogan asked Mark Zuckerberg about that. Yeah, that's true. I can actually post those comments here. That's true. Let's be professional. Sorry.
Be professional. What the hell?
Even here,
Mountain of Inspiration. Yeah, Canada is becoming a dystopian. Mountain of Inspiration said we the people have the right to have a different approach and rise above.
True.
Probably people are supposed to have power, but the people that you elect just to hold the power, like they don't care about what you say. And listen, those people are just working for the re-election. They're not working.
But hold on, let me ask you a question. Right. So let me ask you a question. Now, this is, in a ideal world where, true, diligent, respectable, honest, and open conversation can be taking place at a certain specific point in time where people like us with our beliefs, whoever we are, whether we are from the left, the right, the center, the this, the that, can all come together and say, okay, cool. Let's say okay, let's stick to Africa. So, Google, Amazon, iPhone, Y'all want our resources. Great. Can we actually have an open debate and conversation about the way you guys proceed into getting these things? Can it not be an open conversation? Because I understand they're fearful, but I think that people are not stupid. And more than anything, if you look at the way sometimes there are these uprisings of populations, it's a question still, huh? That's a question for you. But I'm just adding my footnote to that, is when people feel like they've been fucked over, they've been fooled by their leaders. Sometimes just having the open conversation, even though you might still be doing what you're going to be doing, but the fact that people have an opportunity to speak their voice and have an actual conversation that could help this whole thing be pushed forward to maybe a better positioning of how this is done, that is being killed. So for example, let's say you and I, Kay, we say, okay, let's create our own, internet, let's create our own, crypto market where we're going to have a series of things implemented to allow our populations to benefit from, the wonders of what this is, educating without risking to be killed, by maybe even working together, right, with some of these firms, because I think it's possible. So my question is, do you think this is something that's
a long
we can achieve? My question, so let me simplify the question. Do you think that a conversation can take place between, for example, somebody like you, me, and fucking Jeff Bezos and all these guys, and say, okay, look, how about we do this differently? Well, you guys can still make the money, still have access to your resources, but we work from a equal basis, even though you might have a little bit more power than us.
What is the point?
But the point is to achieve a level of fairness that will allow for your population to
listen to your question.
Yes.
Listen to your question. Your question was, how can we, et cetera, where you still have access to our resources? That's the problem. The problem is
no, because I've answered my own. I kind of answered my own question, but I haven't at the same time, because listen to me. What I'm saying is this: because we live in a globalized world, we are all interdependent, right? So you can't leave off of okay, but until it's proven otherwise, we are all interdependent, right, of one another. So in an ideal world, do you think such a conversation can take place? And your business mind now, how would you present it to one of these guys and say, look, this is how I think it can work? What would be your business plan?
The problem here is who am I talking to? Am I talking to governments, or am I talking to
you're talking
tech?
I mean, they're stronger than we're talking to with tech guys. We're talking with Jeff Bezos, for example.
Why would I change anything?
What do you mean? Why would you change anything?
If Jeff Bezos, why would I change anything?
As if you were Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Who you? Why would I change anything?
Because if you don't change anything,
I have 300 billion in the bank. Oh, people are angry. Who they angry at? Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, but
no, the government. They're angry at you. Why are they angry at you? Because we are telling them that they are the ones you should be angry at. They are the ones who are rich. They are the ones who are look at his watch. If you are the people, you look at the watch of who's near you, right?
Yeah.
You don't even go up there outside the country and look at the watch of the person who's corrupted that person. You don't they are our resources. The resources are in the iPhones that are built in China and sold in the US.
Yeah.
Right? And the people who said, oh, it's unfair on Twitter on their sofa, with social security, etc.
In the L-shaped sofa.
In the L-shaped sofa. The person who's suffering, he's throwing rocks at the leader who can't really do anything. Since when he wants to do something, somebody's going to fund a rebellion, or he's going to fund a whatever and tell them
opponent or something. Yeah,
that's not what we agreed on. Yeah, but come on, my people. Like, you remember the 100 million that we gave you? So,
but you see, this is where not to cut you, but to add, this is where, for example, I see, as much as I'm not a fan of how they took over the power in Mali, you know, and it was, I mean, how they treated the late Ibrahim Boubacar Keita was an absolute disgrace, you know, and yeah, I have bias because he knew my father.
Yeah.
You know, I have a personal care for the,
we are friends with his kids.
You know, we are friends with his kids. You know, that was fucked up. You know, the old man didn't deserve that. You know what I mean? But okay, now you guys are the new boss in town, and we have to also commend the fact that, well, in all appearance, and at least as far as the marketing you're putting out there, you're doing everything you can to free yourself from the belligerence or the control of these foreign countries, while still working with them, or still being open, or opening your market to more partners, etc. But now you want to control the narrative. Thing is, this conversation is interesting because now we're talking about military in power, which is not the same thing as a civilian. Because when you're the military force and you control your army, they don't fuck with you the same way. Because if there's one thing that, you know, you can't deny, is the force of arms. And when you're dealing with people who control their armed forces, and who can, you know, be a bit of, I mean, again, you could easily, as you said, cancel them because they still use fucking Facebook and all these platforms to communicate. But maybe if they had like a task force in charge of actually working on these themes, on these conversations, of like creating new paradigms where it would allow their countries to free themselves from these kind of dependency, because they are the armed forces, because they are the, you know, militaries in power. But again, it wouldn't work because, again, it would be like a vicious, il y aura un cercle vicieux de toute façon.
Do you remember General Gay in Ivory?
Oui.
How did he go? He was righteous in the beginning, and then he got power there. Then his wife was in the palace, and then I'm here for 3 years, and then I'm living, and then
that's the problem. Power corrupts you, and I think a lot of the time people forget. Yeah, it's true.
So we have to never forget that we're speaking about humans. And
that's like when you're with a girl, right? You meet the girl like, it's just, and then you end up, you know, fucking being with her for fucking God knows how many years or whatnot. So I guess, same applies with these things. Why would it be different anyways?
I don't fuck. So, it's this thing where, you know, it's such a complex situation where, you know, even the French or the Portuguese, they don't control Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Talk is Chinese. There's no European huge, other than Spotify. And maybe that's why cancel culture don't work there. But there's no like social media strong enough that where you can have your say and not be blocked. And actually, what is happening right now with that, even in the US now, there's a pushback with new social media like Vero, like there was the one where Andrew Tate went, and in one day he had
Rumble.
He had in one day he had 500 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And
but it goes to
we're
show
like,
the
no,
power of the
here.
guy. The guy has videos of like 10
Yeah.
million views in 2 days or 3 days.
But what is most important is the fact that,
and he has no channel on YouTube, by the way. He's been completely
Yeah.
canceled, so he doesn't have any presence on these platforms.
but what it shows you is that there's a need for people to be able to hear something else. And the platforms are saying like, wait a minute, we lost 500,000 people who went there, so they're not here. So when he's live on that position, they're not here. So our stock goes down of $2. We lose billions of dollars. Their stock go up, and now they're like, and all of a sudden, I look at my YouTube, and all of a sudden, I see a bunch of people with different voices that can speak now, because money talks.
Money talks, of course.
But in reality,
all this woke shit goes to the garbage very quick.
Exactly, because all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, we're fucking the money. And people are slapping the wrist of the people who take those decisions. Because if you become the voice of everybody, right? If you, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok become the places when people can talk. If I go outside right now in my street, not everybody agrees with me. People are talking. Everybody can say what they want to say. You cannot just go in the street or remove the mouth of somebody like Neo on the Matrix, and all of a sudden they cannot talk. But these platforms have been doing this, and people are saying, actually, it's scary to build something here if it can be all removed in one day because you said something, or because you believe something, or because did you see that doctor who tweeted something? He tweeted that the masks were not preventing COVID or something.
Yeah.
And he got removed.
You told
from
me about
Twitter.
it. I didn't read it. I didn't see it, but you told me about it. Yeah.
He got removed from Twitter. A year passed, and now the science is saying, after testing and a year, after 2 years of pandemic, etc., the science is saying, the masks were not actually changing anything. All these mandates were just politicians taking decisions from emotion, and because everybody was scared and nobody knew what to do, and people were asking, what are we going to do? And they took decisions. What the guy did, he went to the court and attacked Twitter for freedom of speech. And he said something that was right. And boom, everything he said, they gave him his Twitter back.
Yeah.
For 1 year, he was out of the possibility to talk, and the excuse of everybody, it's a private platform, they're supposed to do what they do, etc., etc. But you show
because when it's convenient, it's this. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So if you say we're here for freedom of speech and we want everybody to be able to let everybody speak, and you let the law decide if somebody's going to get punished for whatever he says, you don't become the law. You cannot be the platform and at the same time the game. And
you cannot be judge and jury. You
cannot be judge and jury. At a point, you have to have. And Mark Zuckerberg actually honestly said that in his interview. I really say, people, you should go see it on
Joe Rogan's Spotify.
Episode. He says, actually, I didn't create this to decide who can or not. I actually would prefer to have, and what we are trying to implement now is a bunch of people who decide when those type of issue arrive. We have to block somebody, to have not just one person who has his ideology block you because he's a trans person, maybe whatever you say hurts him. Have everybody, and to have checks and balances, and somebody be able to say, we disagree, and then maybe vote on something, or have something that is, and maybe something that is public as well. Because when you listen, when my channel on YouTube got deleted, it was nothing. They just told me nudity policy. It was like, what? Who's nude in my channel? Yeah. And like 5,000 videos disappear in one day. You imagine the stress. And then they were like, oh, it's AI that made a mistake. I was like, yo, you guys have to fix your stuff, because and it's not like your channel is blocked and you can go and download everything that is on your YouTube channel and re-upload it somewhere else, or maybe keep it somewhere. Now it's your access and your account doesn't exist anymore from one day to another. And then the same night or the next day, everything was back. But I was like, wow. And because of that, now everything I put online, I save it on a drive now, because I might have one day to just re-upload everything somewhere else. So if you want to be in control of, and listen, the French have the same problem. The European countries have the same problem, because everybody now is in American platforms. So everything that has to do with the struggle of America, we have to be about it. All the big series, all the movies, all the problems between the wokes and their enemies. We should not care about this. If I'm in Portugal, what do I care about this? But they send us all their societal issues that maybe we're not experiencing yet, but they make us experience it faster, because they control all the entertainment in the world. So maybe it's time for Africa to become like Nigeria everywhere, meaning that there will be flourishing entertainment, movie industry, actors, movies, series, novellas.
So this is one of my thing is go ahead.
Or in all the countries, when you have that, plus the places of distribution of all things have to be ours as well.
True.
So that if we talk about something that maybe those people would see as offensive, but for us not offensive, we can see it from the continent, or in the continent, or outside the continent. Not have people from that have no idea how our culture works come and say, now this is so offensive. So, and again, the problem becomes it's government effort to create those structures. But every time that you are creating a free internet where everybody can go, soon as there's any civil unrest, the first thing our governments do, they cut the internet. Because they're scared of the people.
Sure, but if you think about it, it looks like this might become the case, if not already, because when they start censoring you for saying something that engages you and your personal opinion, and of course, if you have a backlash, you have a backlash, but you shouldn't be censored because you say this or that. Exactly. Now, of course, again, if you're a fucking pedophile and you're trying to say that it's okay for you to kids, your ass needs to be fucking deplatform and all that shit, because you have no
just
place.
Take it to jail. No,
and on top of that, you got to be taken to jail without a damn doubt.
But you don't have to deplatform people for saying dumb stuff or dangerous stuff.
But the problem is that they're not only they're not deplatformed, but they're not taken to jail. Nobody's doing anything about this, unfortunately. And that's the thing, right? So, but what you were saying about the African medias, for example, I was noticing, because I consume a lot of African, news content, for example, Cameroon is also a big Pan-African oriented sort of country where a lot of the intellectuals are all about that pushing that Pan-African agenda. And some of their media channels, right, broadcasted over there. Of course, they rarely say anything that is going to be really criticizing the government, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. People talk about, lack of democracy in Russia, lack of democracy in China, but the fact of the matter is that, well, they if the democracy here and the concept of democracy here was virtuous anyway. It's all a question of understanding that, well, you got to deal with your reality and function with those realities. But with that being said, these medias are pretty incisive and very critical of a lot of things in their editorial orientation. Could be considered, if it was broadcasted here on actual, cable TV, I think they would be quickly censored because the type of things they're saying, it's only. I mean, it's again, and it's not censored in their country. So I think that there is some sort of like rebellion going on when it comes to that. But as you said, there is not enough control of the
world.
Of the what?
The outside of your country, you lose control straight away.
Exactly. But on top of that, when you talk about Nigeria and the way they're controlling their market, they're controlling the industry. That's what we lack in Francophone Africa, for example. Francophone Africa is very much behind. It's very sad, actually.
Yeah, it is. But look at, example, somebody that I'm not saying I agree with what he says. I'm not. Don't. I mean, sometimes I've heard a few of he said, but not everything. But you take somebody like Kemi Seba, for example.
Yeah.
In France, he has been already ostracized, and you see him like an extremist activist, almost a terrorist, just because of the things he says, and because he's like, for them, he's they talk about groupuscule, they talk about, they have words. When they start talking about you with certain words, they're coming for you. And the problem is they own the media. So I was in Belgium, and I was browsing TV, and then I realized like the whole time my TV was on France 24. Mm-hmm. When I go to Africa, I also watch France 24, and I'm look at me watching something that is paid for by the French government. So are they? When they do a documentary about RCA in Russia, are they objective? I don't know.
Yeah.
Since they are the voice of, you see what I mean?
But it's angles, right? They're working angles, right? They're working on, and it's all a question of pushing their own agenda, right? So and just like the Russians do the same with their propaganda. It's very interesting.
Exactly. So and it's the same thing with, and you have to understand people are lazy. People
are very
but listen, you're gonna do a whole documentary of an hour, and you're gonna try to take all the sides, right? You're gonna try to be most objective as possible.
Yeah.
Then people will cut the parts that interest them, that go with what they want, and they will post them on post them on Instagram, post them on this, and that's it. Because most people, when they watch media, they want their bias to be confirmed. They're not interested in listening to somebody who disagree with them. They want to listen to somebody who says, yeah, exactly what I wanted to hear. And there they go. It's hard to have people like, I've been watching all my content from the pandemic. I watched a little bit of, 10 minutes of everything I used to say. And I was like, I see my opinions changing from episode 1 Club Chata to episode 200. The things I used to say at a point, I don't agree with them anymore. And I understand that because I'm a person that is evolving, and my opinion is evolving as the information comes. The things I was saying when I had no information, the things I was saying when I was just back from being sick, and the things that I said years later after looking at a lot of the different things, I'm like, and as the science is giving,
but it takes courage as well to disagree in your own self, or to actually have a different opinion than the one you had. It takes also honesty and accountability to say, hey, you know what, I thought then, I've done, my due diligent research, and I probably wasn't that right. Or yes, I was right then, but I've proven wrong today. So
it's not that I was right or I was wrong. Is my opinion was that.
I changed my perspective.
Then my opinion was that. Then today my opinion is this. Tomorrow I might have a different opinion. I used to think that any woman wearing a thong was for the streets when I was 12 or 14, and then 5 years after, after anybody who was
you used to think that when you were 12 years old, so you must be a misogynist.
So, you know, somebody's going to go and take that opinion and those old videos or old tweets and attack me with that. And me, I'll just be like, because it doesn't phase. You see what I mean? Like, it's the internet. It's just people with other opinions, and they have power if you give them that power, or if the platform you on give them that power. My problem here is the same. The platform should not give them the power. You can have 10,000 people angry at you, trying to bully you, etc. But the platform should not take part of it. The platform should be opinion agnostic. Did he say something that the law can attack him? No? Okay, it's between him and the people. Now, can I block everybody? Yes, I can. Can I cut off my internet and go on holiday while people are just yelling and hire somebody to go in my account and block everybody that is insulting? Not the people who disagree with me, just the people who think that because they disagree with me, they have to insult me. I would hire somebody. I said, block all these people, and I will never unblock them. The problem for me is when the people who have an opinion want to take control of the platform. When you have the control of the platform, you have a responsibility to leave your opinions outside when you come to work. When you work at Netflix, I don't care if you are this, that, LGBT, You're here to serve content for everybody, including the people who disagree with your opinions. That's it. You cannot come and say, I want Dave Chappelle to be removed from Netflix because I work at Netflix. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And the problem is most people are human and they get corrupted with the power they have. Soon as you send 1,000 tweets about something and one person gets removed from their job and you're happy that you had somebody unable to feed their family, you're a criminal to me.
Yeah, you're a criminal. Yeah.
You're a criminal.
And there's a glorification of this kind of criminality because
exactly
there's a glorification. Somebody's bread off of their mouth.
Listen, and people can make mistakes. That woman who called the cops on that black man who with her dog and stuff,
in the park,
she deserved to be punished by the cops. Did she deserve to lose her job? Can she learn from the mistake? No. She lost her job. Everybody's happy. Everybody find your address, and then you go home. You have people there throwing rock in your house. You have kids. You have a husband. You have people who now your life has to be a nightmare because of something you said that was stupid, and people think it's normal.
Let me be the devil's lawyer here.
Shit.
I think to a certain extent that has been good. That there's been this uprise of all these, cancel culture people. It put a lot of people back on some sort of like, oh shit, let us fix our act and start behaving a little bit. Now for this to be taken out of proportion like it has gotten, yes, then there needs to be like, okay, cool. Y'all did what you did, cool. Now relax, calm the fuck down. Let's bring things back to normal. I think people understood the message. Now, there's a bit more things that are put in place to keep certain people in check. Because indeed, like somebody like this woman, because in America, if you do something like that, you might get this black man killed by the cops. And so to a certain extent, yes, you deserve what you got, but it's unfair because you should have been just sentenced to paying a certain amount of money or having had to do like some how do you call it, social work or some shit like that to get you to understand what you did was fucked up. But I think it takes this experience to now understand that this was too extreme. Maybe we don't need to take people's bread off their mouth.
The problem being that people are now abusing this power that you gave them.
Exactement. Ben oui, c'est la nature humaine. Human nature.
Exactly. So the problem is now we have to start asking ourselves, like, is it normal that when you say something that people don't like, you have 10,000 people who are sending you death threat, private, crazy stuff because you said something.
This is.
And now you have a whole generation that the only way they know how to act.
And the funny thing is, the sad thing about this shit is that with those death threats, a couple of fucking cuckoo motherfuckers L'autre, c'est like, oh, this is amazing. Let me, je m'intègre là-dedans, et puis I'm gonna go. And some lunatics come and fucking try to kill you, or eventually end up killing you, or raping
Yeah,
you, doing whatever the fuck they're gonna be doing.
that's
All
the
of
thing.
that because some people decided to, bully the life out of you, and
To
yeah,
me,
it's
all these people should lose their Twitter accounts.
yeah, no,
See,
without a
do
doubt,
it in
there
real life.
is.
If we do it in real life, you say something that I don't like, and you have 10,000 people coming to spit on you, beat you up, punch you in the face in the street. All these people normally should be arrested. But on
Agreed.
social media, we glorified this. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, justice has prevailed. No,
Yeah,
a mob of crazy lunatics is walking the streets of the internet. We don't even know if those people who pretend they're hurt might be 12 years old.
that's
But
the thing.
I think they say is more important than sanity, nuance. And if you are the platform, you should also take accountability in what your platform is doing to the world, how your platform is turning everybody into crazy people. So when we all live in the metaverse and our brains are decoupled from our body and our consciousness are in the metaverse, it means that you wake up one day with 100,000 people looking at you on your bed inside of the metaverse and starting to activate your pain sensors, and you feel a horrible pain, even if it's virtual reality. Because and that's a crime.
It's
so
a crime.
To me, all these people are criminals, even if they believe they do it for justice, for the right. But the problem when you start having people believing that they are the good and the others are evil, it gives them
it's so benevolent and this like so the Batman complex,
gives them the green light to do anything for the good. Crusade, go slaughter these infidels,
non-believers, and all these fucking They are, and you now you're not a friend of the cause, you're an enemy.
See what I mean? Let's go. Let's all go and we sing as we slaughter people because we are the good ones. This is what's happening right now in the world. With you have China is now evil, Russia is evil, Iran is evil.
Okay. Iran. Okay.
No. Now it's fucked up what they just did.
But they've been doing it for some time. But it's like now they could do the next level. Like these fucking motherfuckers, man.
No, I'm talking about the general.
And I know what you mean, but I want to add to that what you said. And this is really sad because Iranian people are some of the most educated people you might meet. It's so sad that they got these ways of interpreting Islam and the Quran and the surahs of the Quran and just and now they have police des mœurs, police du style, police y'all got so far out of yourself to kill somebody because her man is
a little bit of hair on.
I was like, come on, man, it's fucked up, man. That's somebody's daughter, man. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's friend. That's somebody's wife. And we're gonna kill you. That's
the Western is gonna make the best out of it. And listen, he might be the thing that make it change because they want to remove those regimes. You have to remember that when Iran was trying to be a democracy, the CIA prevented that because he was preventing them from making their money from oil.
Yes, exactly. Non, mais de toute façon, la CIA a foutu de la merde à tous les niveaux. The CIA, I mean, I'm not taking away. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, these governments, I mean, the bottom line is that they truly want to take, but
we are living in the country from.
With that being said, is that, yo, bro, like, how can in the 21st century they can still be people being killed over their sexual orientation, the way
Yeah,
they dress,
yeah.
and it makes no sense. And of course, those are isolated cases. I don't think it happens all the time, every day, all day, but it shouldn't fucking happen at all. But
Should
again,
not.
anyways, that's the world we're in, right? So
That's well within. There's a lot of people who listen. There's a lot of Christians who would do it as well in the U.S. in the 21st century.
yeah, true.
Yeah. The world where we are. You have like the problem is like you see what the president Macron said, the French president said. He said, we have to create this line of the line of freedom, the line of the just in Africa to prevent this and that. And you like, wait a minute, did you give back Martinique and Guadeloupe to the Arawaks? Like, are you giving back those lands? Are you giving back Guyana to the South Americans? Are you? Sorry, you here talking about freedom? You here talking about Russia is going to eat the land of the Ukrainians, but France, Martinique, and Guadeloupe, what is this? It's like
in the moment the separatists they send out the army or the CRS or the
has been
police.
trying to be its own country forever.
Yeah.
And you've been having their leaders died in prison. Fucking what's his name? The Julian Assange. He's in not
in this jail in London.
And why? Because he said things that you guys were doing in Iraq, America. And oh no, he's a traitor. Okay. I don't have nothing to say then.
Okay. It is what it is, man.
Yeah. So, you know, when people come to me with their virtual signaling, I'm like, yo, calm down. No, but somebody did something bad 5 days ago doesn't mean that what. Just calm down. Look, this is what we are. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you what the bad thing done there justify the bad thing done today. I'm just telling you, this is how we got here. That's it. People like all of a sudden, enough fun to talk to.
Oh my god.
No, I'm smart.
I feel so disgusted. You hurt my feelings. Kaysha, you really hurt my feelings, and I wanna say that it's been horrible talking to you.
Go eat shit.
Oh my god. You are against people who eat shit. I represent the brotherhood of shit eaters, and you just literally just no. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. This world we live in is fucked up, man. But anyways,
No, listen,
hey,
the world is a mess. And we have to
ça c'est the rise and fall of Atlantis, hein? Atlantide, Babylon, tout ça. I think we are reaching a level. I think we went so down. I think the only way got to be up. You know, because I think it can be much worse. But if it gets much worse, I don't know how it's gonna end up being.
I believe that the Occidental Empire has reached an end, and
yeah, the forces are switching.
Are saying, "Hey, we don't see the world the same way you do, and you don't have to. You don't have the
rise of new empires
of good and bad. There's a
you don't have the monopoly for that shit. No more.
And there's a rise of the Chinese way, the Russian way, the Middle East way, the African way, maybe one day, and the people who are on top of the food chain, they want to stay there. I understand them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's understandable. You want to keep your lifestyle and all that.
It's something I always tell people. Where I live is an amazing neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's safe, expensive. So people that are my neighbors, I guess they are of a certain standing, right? On my streets, I only see Porsches and Mercedes and rich Russians, Ukrainian, Chinese, Brazilian, Angolans, and Portuguese, right? It's the most expensive neighborhood of Lisbon where I live. And if you tell me, hey, every month we're gonna switch with me. Now every month you're gonna go to the ghetto, and the people from the ghetto will come live in your neighborhood, in your house, and use all your stuff. You continue to pay, right? And you will pay the rent for them, and then you will go live in the ghetto with all the rich people, so that everybody can mix themselves, understand each other, and I would be like, fuck no. I want to go live.
I don't think that is even a way to solve inequalities and all of that.
I'm saying, you see what I mean?
But if you're talking about, social engineering and just sort of like making sure that there's a little bit more fairness and harmonization of quality of life, it's to a certain extent it's achievable. And I understand, the world is the world. There's going to be rich, there's going to be poor, there's going to be, in the middle. But now the world we're entering in now, there's only going to be poor and rich. There's not going to be even a middle class. At least that's what a lot of people. I was talking to my sister who lives in Belgium, and she was telling me, she's like, "Yo, you have no idea, man. Like what's going on right now in this side of Europe, at least Belgium, especially with the crisis with Ukraine and Russia, the difficulty to access gas and all that. Like prices are going to the roof. People are having to, man, it's messed up, and everybody's scared, man. There's a level of anxiety. I was talking today with Nuno, for example, and he was telling me that his mother-in-law was watching the news, and she said, it's like everything is meant to maintain people in a level of stress and anxiety. So they're already preparing the people for the recession of 2023 and maybe 2024, and so that it's almost like there's a global anesthesia that is being inoculated into people's brain and system, so that the concept of revolt, the concept of just standing for their own rights and claiming their space and their due right to dignity is stripped from them. There's gonna be globalization of salaries. Everybody's gonna make the same salary. Let's all pay you the same.
But look, Ursula.
I'm mixing obviously a lot of different things, but that's the
look. Ursula von der Leyen, president of the EU.
Who voted her, by the way?
You?
I didn't.
And she says she's like every fair politician. They send them to Europe, and she said, "It's for freedom. It's for the good." So, while I'm being paid millions and
I'm living my life in the best areas in Belgium, and I don't know where these people live in Brussels, but these people, ils vivent bien, mon cher. Mon cher. L'argent n'est pas un problème pour eux.
It's not. So, at a point, if you have not been elected and you don't have to answer to anybody, right? Because that's the problem of the EU. It's not federal state, but he wants to act as a federal
state. Federal
state like the US. Everybody's elected. First, you're president that is elected. Then you have all governors,
and then
they decide. Some people say, "Hey, no mask in Florida, no mask."
Even though the president is not really elected by the people, though.
I know, but I was simplifying. But
and
all the governors are elected. Then all the county heads are elected, and the judge are elected. Everybody's elected. So when you have the president who's elected is going to, the president of the US have way less power than president of France.
Oh yes, that's true.
But in the US, in the EU, for example, we elect our presidents, but the people who are up there in Europe, nobody's elected.
In Brussels, yeah. C'est à Strasbourg, non? C'est à Strasbourg qu'il est le siège de l'Union européenne. Non, pas le siège, c'est à Bruxelles. C'est le truc le Parlement européen est à Strasbourg.
Yeah, but
je crois.
Those people are not elected. So it's a thing where what's going on right now, because all these people are not real and good politicians. Where's the music? Or because these people are not elected and they take decisions as if they were on Twitter because they just are trying to stay in power or whatever and continue to be paid their awesome salary. They take decisions that they don't. Yeah, listen, they just take those decisions because of that's how I feel. And us, the people who voted, we are not consulted. Do we want this? Do we want those sanctions? Do we want to? Nobody asks us, right? And what is happening now? You see what happened in Italy?
La gauche, l'extrême droite, extreme right, yeah.
Far right won the election. Why?
Oh, far right, pardon.
Because people are like, now everybody's starting to panic. We have to stay in the line. Hey, it's the same message. Hey, for freedom. Hey, those people might listen because we have to all agree. And this is what's happening, and this is what's going to happen even in the US. Everybody's starting to be scared because a lot of people in the US are saying that the rights are going to go back in power in the next midterms.
Because the Republicans,
with these politics that everybody's doing that are not real politics. Politicians forgot what is their job, to do politics. It's not to talk about societal issue and give their opinion. We don't care. Let the people do that. Like, same thing for social media. The same problem. We don't come on YouTube for YouTube to tell us what is right or not. It's not your problem. If what I say is wrong on YouTube, a judge should punish me.
Yeah.
And then maybe
take action upon,
And then maybe the judge can say that video has to be removed, and that video, not this account, etc. It's not YouTube to do this. All these people, they're scared of lawsuits, etc. They're scared of the different bases, etc. Or they receive calls from governments. So you can be in Nigeria and you get your YouTube removed. The fuck? What you said is not right. Oh, in Nigeria it is. Yeah, but hurricane. Yo. And now you have those people who are. Listen, me, I've always been a European believer. I believe in the EU, whatever, the Euros, all that stuff. But I have the right to criticize some of the things that don't make sense. It doesn't mean that I want to return out of, be like the UK and leave. But see, the UK left, we still have to see what he's going to do, what he's going to do to them. But at a point, they left the UK.
But it's well. I don't know. That's a good. I have to look into that. But a lot of people a lot of countries supposedly are contemplating the idea because now supposedly they want to take out Bulgaria from le traité en Europe. C'est comme les Bulgares là, ils continuent à travailler avec les Russes là. They continue to. So I think there was some sort of European. Members of the European Union who said, Parliament who said, no, they need to boot out the.
You can't do that.
Bulgaria, etc.
But you see,
but I don't know how it's gonna hurt. Right. I mean, the thing is that even if you do that, hey man, those are complex economical conversations.
Yeah,
I need to sit on and study so that we can elaborate more on it. But We've touched a lot of deep subjects, man.
Yeah, we did. A good return to
good return to MQT. It could not be done without you, man. Hey, no, the return had to be done with
these people became radical. These people became radical conservative.
The conservative. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a question of conservatism or anything. I just think it's just common sense. But again, common sense for you and I may not be for the same for another person. So I guess, yeah, if you want to corner us. And
some people just have emotions. That's my problem with the world today.
Yeah, same here.
I'm a guy of common sense. So, like, sometimes I piss my wife up because I just reply with comments. Can you have some heart? I was like conversation about heart. Common sense. This should not be there. So be there. I hate you. You're a robot.
You're fucking binary.
No. Many shades of colors.
Yeah, I think having common sense doesn't take away from the fact that you're able to see nuances and understand that the emotional side of things, but you're not allowing emotion to be taking control over your judgment or your analysis of a given situation.
But that's what happened the last 20 years. It got turned upside down.
Yeah.
For the normal person, it makes sense. Just be emotional and rage. The role of the leaders is to feel the emotion as well, but contain it and then tell the people, calm down, let me see, and then take it.
No, we need an answer now. I can't. Give me time. Let's look into this. But instead, no. Since they're all, influencers, social media, communicant.
Yeah, you have people telling them, you have to say something now. You have to say that.
My kid says like, yo, say this. Okay, okay. You sure? Yeah. You're gonna get so many perks for that, man. The country's gonna thank you for it. Ok, en tout cas, toujours les courses.
Relationships next time.
Let's do that, man.
Before some people look at us like, those two would be amazing presidents. We could groom them into becoming this in 10 years, and then don't worry, prepare 200 million.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think we could be. I mean, it's a bit contemptuous to say that, but the truth is,
You think you would be a great president?
Okay, the humility forces me to say that I think I would be a better, and not even the humility, I think truthfully I would operate better behind curtains. I would operate better being a guy who can influence, especially when it comes to arts and cultures. I think this is an education, really. This is something that I really hold close to heart, and it's funny because I think back upon something that my father had. This amazing painter. We used to call him. His name was Tom Selleck. He was an amazing drawer. This guy, man. This guy. Because I was homeschooled and I had my own classroom, and so psychologically, my father said, "Well, let's paint him. Fake. Kids. I mean, they painted school. Kids. Yeah. So they painted kids on the walls in the classroom.
Lord Fauntleroy.
And I had my father. I had 8 teachers for all the material. It was just for me, and my younger sister. Yeah.
Look at these people.
I mean, my father had money, and my mother's money. Both of them had money. And they were like, because we didn't live in the capital city, we lived in the countryside, you might say. It was a small town called Bria, and the education there was not, necessarily of a level that would allow, us to eventually be able to
talk with the people. You're not even from the people.
Actually, it's a very interesting thing, because as a kid, I suffered a lot from that because I felt I was so privileged. So basically, at a certain point, my father said, "Okay, look, let's take some of your friends, some of
Mm.
my childhood friend, and they came with us.
The school.
They came to the school, so they would benefit from this education as well. And but my father, so the painter had written a message. I don't think it was Jules Ferry, whatever you may say about Jules Ferry and all these, but the message was de l'éducation naît la grandeur d'une nation. And as a kid, so from education is birthed the greatness of a nation. And as a kid, I understood what it meant reading it, but now as an adult and as we have entered a different phase of our lives, I understand what it means. It's like education, not in terms, because I used to think about education as in being at school and being bored. Education can be so many things, learning how to code, etc., etc. But being educated is essential, and that's something I think I would have a great role. I think I would have a great role as a minister of culture or something like that. That's something that I would fucking nail it. As a president, I think I would turn to be. I'm a bit authoritarian. I think I'll be a bit. I think because there's so much fuckery and stupidity going on. I'll be like, yo, motherfuckers.
Violent.
I would be violent. I'll be a fair guy, but it would be main de fer dans grand velours.
The thing is this: you have a whole generation of people who are not educated.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great president.
Yeah, I think you would. And I think that I think that if I was to be picking somebody to be president, I'd pick you to be a president for a country like your country, DRC. I mean, you would have the right people around you as well. You would know how to surround yourself with the right minds, because you're humble enough to know where you're limited and when you're not.
Yeah, very fast.
Yeah. But you still would need to delegate, and you would delegate to the right people, right?
I don't know.
You would have to, because as a good leader, you can't just do it on your own. You don't have enough.
I'd delegate, but I would control everything. I would control every flux of money coming in and out of the state.
I think you would be a great leader as far as empowering your country financially and giving it freedom and this and that.
Yeah.
For other things, I think you need people who are capable of. You would probably need somebody like me on your side for certain aspects of things that you don't have the patience for. And I would the diplomatic stuff of le village, les conversations, la diplomatie, certain form. That's my shit. You have no time for that. You don't understand it. You understand it, but you don't have time for it.
And I would love to have my dad as an advisor.
I mean, bro,
promise. Like, it'd be like, I would have like.
But your brother is properly groomed, so
Yeah.
I mean, when you have charismatic men like your dad or like my grandfather or my father, man, we it's in ourselves, man. And not only charismatic, but people who've done great stuff, and
we know it.
The apple never falls too far from the tree.
And this concludes why there's nothing special or strange of you being in Forbes and GQ.
I agree. I agree.
Thanks for watching.
Actually, I'm the first Central African to be in these magazines. To my knowledge, but for what I've been told, I'm the first Central African to be in these magazines.
Bro, I'm the first Congolese to sell an NFT, I believe.
Yeah.
Let alone sell out a whole collection.
You sold out a whole collection in 38 minutes, $100,000. Boom.
Pop.
And you sold out the other one as well in 26 hours.
And the last one is ready.
So yes, but again, we're as we said, we have to accept that not everybody will see or understand
Nope.
what we're doing, and they might understand it, long after we're gone, or
That's
maybe
not.
before. Who knows? But that's not what we're doing it for, anyways.
Yep. Indeed.
Okay, toujours l'écolo. Some people say, "Oh my God, those guys are just talking so much about themselves. Disgusting."
If I don't love you can love me.
Exactly. Hey, these people, man. En tout cas, family, thank you very much for tuning in today. Has been an amazing return of MQT. The
How many hours?
52nd episode. We did 2 hours and 26 minutes. This has been a fantastic conversation. And I have to say that I have regained my my vibe back when it comes to doing this, and I'm glad that I was able to start start this new episode of many more to come. I think we need to do that as a monthly thing, man. Us just sitting down and just talking.
We do this every day on the phone, so
we do it every day on the phone, anyways.
So we can do it.
We can do it here.
Should do more of those. Listen, I really want to go onto those conversation in front of a drink.
Thank you, Joel, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, I agree. I think on two would be a great idea. I mean, I'll speak to Igor, the guy, the owner.
We bring out microphones.
Oui. Au comprendre sûr. SMV7.
And yeah, we sit, have a drink, and maybe have some guests that pass by and hop in the conversation. That would be cool.
I agree.
Some people don't need to overcomplicate it. Just don't need 5 cameras, just one. The same we have here, but like what we did in Dakar.
Oh man, that was a vibe, bro.
Vibe.
And we need to do it again.
Yeah.
I think we need to do it again. Let's organize something for maybe for end of the year or something. Let's see if that's something that we could pull off.
Yeah.
That would be so dope.
Yeah.
Bon, en tout cas. Bon, Papake. Boa noite, senhora.
Boa noite, senhora.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and for those watching the replay, midnight 22. Yes, sir. I hope you enjoy. Make sure that you press the like button, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you've watched it until the end. Hats off to you. It means that you've enjoyed this. Of course, we're going to be posting, clips of this whole conversation, and make sure you also show some love via the super chat that you can give even after the live. I've not seen any super chats thus far, but you guys should not hesitate to support because this is a serious endeavor that we have embarked on. Also, make sure you subscribe to Papa Kaysha's YouTube channel. Of course, that goes without saying. You can watch my interview and conversation with GQ Portugal in the links attached here below. In the description of the video, I posted the link where I speak with GQ and the link to the mini mix I did for them, and that is exclusively available on their website. So yeah, that's that. And of course, as always, gratitude for your precious support. Have a blessed continuation of your week, and be the best version of ourselves.
Where do I get that song that's playing in the back? I always
The
song plays in the back. Where I get what's the name of it?
Cosmogenes. It's a song that I released 2 months ago.
I know it. I remember when
Cosmogenesis. It's inspired by Professor Kalala Nusere Kalala Omotunde, a great Pan-Africanist, a great Egyptologist, and a true student of the late Sheikh Anta Diop. And he actually wrote several books about, cosmogenèse africaine, etc. It's very powerful. And
Nice.
the song is inspired by his work, and because I follow a lot of his conversations on YouTube, etc. Very instructive and educative stuff. Talking about that,
Oh, he's not gonna let me go.
Little Mermaid was inspired by the African Mami Wata.
Dude, he's
So, on this verse, bless our family. Peace. Ah, j'ai même plus l'écran de fin là. Où est-ce que j'ai mis cet écran? Merde alors.
Oh my god!
Merdouille. Merdouille, les douilles, qui touille. Ok, bon, on va aller. Atejnaz.
bless.
Peace.